Chapter 1. The Silent Architect Within You. There is a force inside you that never sleeps. It does not argue. It does not hesitate. It does not question your worth. It simply listens, and then it builds. At this very moment, something deep within you is shaping your future. Not your circumstances, not your luck, not even your intelligence. A quiet and powerful system is working beneath your awareness. It has been recording every belief, every fear, every hope you have ever entertained, and turning them into reality with astonishing precision. This is your subconscious mind. Most people live their entire lives unaware of this silent architect. They struggle. They push harder. They blame the world. Yet they never realize that the blueprint of their life is not written outside, but within. Like a hidden script running behind the scenes, your subconscious mind is constantly influencing your decisions, your habits, your relationships, and even your health. Consider this question. Why do two people with the same education, the same opportunities, and similar backgrounds end up with completely different lives? One rises with confidence, attracts success, and creates meaning. The other remains stuck, repeating the same patterns, facing the same failures, and wondering why nothing changes. The answer is not found in the world outside. It is found in the world within. Your subconscious mind does not judge whether a belief is true or false. It accepts whatever you consistently tell it. If you tell yourself you are not capable, it quietly accepts that command and begins shaping your behavior to prove it. If you repeat that opportunities are rare, it will filter your perception so you fail to see them even when they stand right in front of you. But here is the truth that changes everything. This same power that holds you back can also set you free. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. It does not care whether you plant seeds of fear or seeds of confidence. It does not question whether the thoughts you repeat are helpful or destructive. It simply nurtures them and brings them to life. Every repeated thought becomes a pattern. Every pattern becomes a habit. Every habit becomes a result. And eventually those results shape the story of your life. The most fascinating part is that this process is happening whether you are aware of it or not. From childhood, your subconscious mind has been programmed by your environment. The words of your parents, the opinions of teachers, the expectations of society, the failures you experienced, the moments you felt small. All of these have quietly written instructions into your inner system. Some of those instructions empower you. Many of them limit you. A child who hears encouragement begins to believe in possibilities. A child who hears doubt begins to fear them. Over time, these beliefs become invisible rules that guide every decision without ever announcing themselves. You do not see the rule, you only experience the result. You might think you are making conscious choices, but in reality, a large part of your behavior is driven by automatic patterns stored deep within your subconscious. This is why people often repeat the same mistakes. This is why someone can know what is right, yet still do what holds them back. The conscious mind decides. The subconscious mind directs. If the conscious mind is the captain, then the subconscious mind is the engine. And no matter how clear the captain's instructions are, the ship will only move according to the power and direction of the engine. This is why willpower alone often fails. You may decide to change. You may promise yourself a new path. But if your subconscious programming does not support that decision, you will eventually return to your old patterns. Real transformation begins when you learn to influence the deeper mind, and here lies your greatest opportunity. You are not a prisoner of your past programming. You are the author of your future conditioning. The same mind that was programmed without your awareness can now be reprogrammed with your intention. Imagine what becomes possible when you begin to consciously choose the thoughts you repeat. When you start feeding your mind with beliefs that strengthen you instead of weaken you. When you align your inner script with the life you truly desire. Suddenly, your actions change. Your confidence grows. Opportunities begin to appear where there were none before, not because the world changed, but because your perception did. And perception is the lens through which reality is experienced. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It listens to your words. It listens to your self-talk. It listens to the quiet thoughts you repeat when no one is around. Every statement you make about yourself is being recorded. Every emotion you attach to those thoughts strengthens the recording. You are constantly instructing your subconscious mind. The question is not whether you are programming it. The question is, what are you programming it with? In the chapters ahead, you will begin to understand how this powerful system truly works. You will discover how beliefs are formed, how habits are created, how emotions influence your inner world, and most importantly, how you can take control of this process. Because once you understand the language of your subconscious mind, you begin to speak directly to the source of your transformation. And when that happens, your life does not change slowly. It changes from the inside out. This is where your journey begins. Chapter 2. The language. Your mind understands. There is a quiet truth that separates those who struggle endlessly from those who transform their lives with clarity and purpose. It is not effort. It is not intelligence. It is not even opportunity, it is understanding. Because your subconscious mind does not respond to logic the way your conscious mind does. It does not analyze arguments. It does not weigh evidence. It does not sit in judgment and decide what is right or wrong. It responds to a different language, and once you understand that language, you gain access to one of the most powerful forces within you. From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, your conscious mind is active. It thinks, questions, compares, and evaluates. It is the part of you that reads, learns, and tries to make sense of the world. But beneath that surface activity, your subconscious mind is quietly absorbing everything without resistance. It is always listening, not just to your words, but to your emotions, your repeated thoughts, and your mental images. These are the true signals that shape your inner world. If your conscious mind speaks in logic, your subconscious mind speaks in repetition, emotion, and imagination. This is the first key you must understand. Imagine speaking to someone in a language they do not understand. No matter how intelligent your message is, it will not be received. The same happens when you try to change your life using only logic, while your subconscious mind is tuned to a different frequency. You may tell yourself that you are capable. You may read books, attend lectures, and gather knowledge. But if deep within you there is a repeated emotional belief that says you are not enough, your subconscious mind will continue to act on that belief. It does not listen to what you say once. It listens to what you repeat with feeling. Repetition is the first language of your subconscious mind. Think about how you learned to walk, to speak, or to perform even the simplest tasks. You did not master them through a single attempt. You repeated them again and again until they became automatic. The same principle applies to your thoughts and beliefs. Every thought you repeat becomes familiar. Every familiar thought becomes accepted. And every accepted thought becomes a part of your subconscious programming. This is why negative patterns are so powerful. Not because they are true, but because they are repeated. A person who constantly thinks, "I am not good enough," begins to feel it. That feeling reinforces the thought. The thought is repeated again. Over time, it becomes a belief. and that belief begins to shape behavior. Opportunities are avoided, risks are feared. Growth is resisted, not because the person lacks ability, but because the subconscious mind has accepted a command. Now consider the opposite. A person who consistently repeats empowering thoughts begins to create a different internal environment. At first it may feel unnatural, it may even feel false. But with repetition and emotional engagement, the subconscious mind begins to accept it. Confidence grows. Action becomes easier. The same world begins to look different. Repetition plants the seed. Emotion waters it. Emotion is the second language your subconscious mind understands. You can repeat a thought 1,000 times without impact if it carries no emotional weight. But a single emotionally intense experience can imprint a belief instantly. This is why certain memories stay with you for years, not because they happened often, but because they were charged with strong emotion: fear, joy, embarrassment, pride, love, rejection. These emotions act like amplifiers. They signal to your subconscious mind that something is important. And what is important gets stored deeply. Think back to a moment when you felt deeply discouraged. Perhaps someone criticized you. Perhaps you failed at something that mattered to you. In that moment, your emotional state was intense. If a thought formed in that moment, such as "I am not capable," your subconscious mind may have accepted it as truth. Not because it was logically accurate, but because it was emotionally charged. Now imagine using this same principle intentionally. When you combine repetition with positive emotion, you create powerful internal change. When you visualize success and feel the excitement of achieving it, you are sending a clear message to your subconscious mind. This is real. This matters. This is who I am becoming. And your subconscious mind begins to align your thoughts and actions with that message. Imagination is the third language. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish clearly between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced. This is why your body can respond to a thought as if it were real. Think about how your heart rate increases when you imagine a stressful situation, or how you feel joy when you recall a happy memory. In both cases, nothing is happening in the external world, yet your internal state changes. This is the power of mental imagery. Athletes use this principle to enhance performance. They visualize success repeatedly until their mind accepts it as familiar. When the real moment arrives, their actions feel natural because their subconscious mind has already experienced it many times. You can apply the same principle to any area of your life. If you consistently imagine yourself speaking with confidence, overcoming challenges, and achieving your goals, your subconscious mind begins to treat these images as reality. It adjusts your behavior to match them. Your actions start to follow your inner pictures. Now consider what happens when imagination is used negatively. If you constantly imagine failure, rejection, or worst-case scenarios, your subconscious mind accepts these as possible realities. It prepares you for them. It limits your actions to avoid them. And in doing so, it often brings them closer. This is why worry is so powerful. It is negative imagination repeated with emotion. You are rehearsing failure in your mind, and your subconscious mind is listening carefully. Understanding this gives you control. You begin to realize that your thoughts are not just passing events. They are instructions. Your emotions are not just feelings. They are signals. Your imagination is not just fantasy. It is a tool of creation. The language of your subconscious mind is always active. Every day you are programming it, whether you realize it or not, through the conversations you have with yourself, through the stories you tell about your past, through the expectations you hold about your future. If you wake up and immediately think this will be a difficult day, you have already sent a message. If you approach a challenge with fear and doubt, that message is reinforced. Your subconscious mind begins to shape your perception and behavior accordingly. But if you wake up and intentionally direct your thoughts, something different happens. You begin to take control of the programming process. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing the lens through which you experience it. It means feeding your mind with thoughts that support growth instead of limitation. There is a discipline required here. At first, you may notice how automatic your thoughts are. Negative patterns may appear without invitation. Doubt may arise even when you try to think positively. This is normal. It is the result of past conditioning. But every time you consciously choose a different thought, you are creating a new pathway. Every time you replace fear with possibility, you are sending a new instruction. Every time you imagine success instead of failure, you are rewriting your internal script. The process is gradual, but it is powerful. With consistent practice, new patterns begin to form. Old beliefs begin to weaken. Your subconscious mind starts to accept new truths. And once a belief is accepted at the subconscious level, it begins to influence everything. Your confidence is no longer forced. It becomes natural. Your actions are no longer driven by fear. They are guided by clarity. Your decisions are no longer limited by doubt. They are shaped by belief. This is how transformation occurs, not through a single moment of motivation, but through consistent communication with your subconscious mind in a language it understands. Repetition, emotion, imagination. These are the tools you carry within you. You do not need permission to use them. You do not need special conditions. You only need awareness and intention. In the next chapter, you will discover how beliefs are formed at a deeper level and why some of them seem so difficult to change. You will begin to see how your past has shaped your present and how you can break free from patterns that no longer serve you. Because once you understand the origin of your beliefs, you gain the power to redefine them. And when you redefine your beliefs, you redefine your life. Chapter 3. The Invisible Blueprint of Belief. Before a single action is taken, before a decision is made, before a result appears in your life, something deeper has already spoken. A belief, not a loud declaration, not a conscious decision, but a quiet assumption that lives within you, shaping how you see the world and how you see yourself. Beliefs are not just ideas you think about. They are truths you feel. And once something feels true, your subconscious mind begins to organize your entire life around it. Imagine a man standing in front of a closed door. He tries to push it open, but it does not move. After a few attempts, he steps back and says to himself, "This door cannot be opened." From that moment onward, he stops trying. Now imagine another person approaches the same door. Instead of assuming it cannot be opened, he examines it carefully. He notices a handle. He turns it, and the door opens effortlessly. The difference was never in the door. It was in the belief. This is how your life works. Many of the limitations you experience are not real barriers. They are conclusions you accepted at some point in your life. And once accepted, they became part of your subconscious blueprint. That blueprint now directs your behavior in ways you may not even realize. Beliefs are formed long before you are aware of them. In your early years, your mind was open and highly impressionable. You did not question what you heard, you absorbed it. Every word from parents, teachers, and authority figures entered your subconscious without resistance. If you were told you are intelligent, you began to act accordingly. If you were told you are weak, slow, or incapable, those words may have quietly taken root. At that stage, repetition and emotion played a powerful role. A single comment might not have defined you. But repeated messages, especially those tied to strong emotion, began to form patterns. Over time, those patterns solidified into beliefs, and once a belief is formed, it begins to filter your reality. This is one of the most fascinating aspects of the human mind. You do not see the world as it is. You see it as your beliefs allow you to see it. If you believe people cannot be trusted, you will notice every instance that confirms it. If you believe opportunities are rare, you will overlook chances that do not fit that belief. If you believe you are not capable, you will interpret challenges as proof of your limitations. Your mind is constantly searching for evidence to support what it already believes. This is not a flaw. It is a function. Your subconscious mind is designed to maintain consistency. It prefers familiar patterns over unfamiliar possibilities. Even if a belief is limiting, if it is familiar, your mind will hold on to it. This is why change can feel uncomfortable. When you attempt to adopt a new belief, it often conflicts with your existing internal blueprint. Your subconscious mind resists not because it wants to harm you, but because it wants to protect what it perceives as stability. If you have spent years believing that success is difficult, the idea that success can be natural may feel unrealistic. If you have believed that you are not confident, acting with confidence may feel unnatural. This discomfort is not a sign that you are wrong. It is a sign that you are stepping beyond your existing conditioning. Understanding this changes your relationship with growth. Instead of expecting immediate comfort, you begin to recognize discomfort as part of the transformation process. You stop interpreting resistance as failure and start seeing it as evidence that change is happening. But to truly change a belief, you must first become aware of it. Many beliefs operate silently. They do not announce themselves. They reveal themselves through patterns. Look at the areas of your life where you feel stuck. Look at the goals you struggle to achieve. Look at the habits you find difficult to change. Behind each of these patterns is a belief. A person who struggles with confidence may carry the belief that their voice does not matter. A person who avoids opportunities may believe they are not ready. A person who repeats unhealthy habits may believe they do not deserve better. These beliefs are not always obvious. Sometimes they are hidden beneath layers of thought and emotion. But if you pay attention to your internal dialogue, you can begin to uncover them. Notice what you say to yourself when you face a challenge. Do you encourage yourself or criticize yourself? Do you expect success or anticipate failure? Do you see possibilities or focus on obstacles? Your answers reveal your beliefs. Once a belief is identified, the next step is to question it. This is where your conscious mind plays a powerful role. Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? Where did it come from? Has it always been accurate? Or has it simply been repeated enough to feel true? Often you'll find that many of your limiting beliefs are not based on facts. They are based on past experiences that were interpreted in a certain way. A failure in the past may have led you to believe you are not capable. A rejection may have led you to believe you are not worthy. A difficult situation may have led you to believe life is unfair. But these were moments, not definitions. The meaning you gave to those moments became the belief. And meaning can be changed. This is one of the most empowering realizations you can have. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you believe about what happened to you. If you can change the meaning, you can change the belief. Instead of seeing failure as proof of inability, you can see it as a step toward growth. Instead of viewing rejection as a sign of unworthiness, you can interpret it as redirection. Instead of believing that challenges are barriers, you can begin to see them as opportunities for expansion. This shift may seem simple, but it is profound. Because once a new belief begins to take root, your subconscious mind starts to reorganize your behavior around it. You begin to take actions you once avoided. You begin to see opportunities you once ignored. You begin to respond differently to situations that once triggered fear. Your external world begins to reflect your internal change. But remember, belief change is not a one-time event. It is a process. Old beliefs do not disappear instantly. They weaken over time as new beliefs are strengthened. This is why consistency is essential. You must continue to reinforce the new belief through repetition, emotion, and imagination. Every time you act in alignment with a new belief, you strengthen it. Every time you challenge an old belief, you weaken it. Gradually, the balance shifts. What once felt unnatural becomes natural. What once felt impossible becomes achievable. What once felt distant becomes real. This is how your invisible blueprint is rewritten, not through force, but through awareness and persistence. As you move forward, remember this: your beliefs are not fixed. They are formed, and anything that is formed can be transformed. In the next chapter, you will explore how your subconscious mind influences your habits and behaviors on a daily basis. You will begin to understand why certain patterns repeat and how you can break free from cycles that no longer serve you. Because when you change your habits, you change your direction, and when you change your direction, you change your destiny. Chapter 4: How Habits Shape the Life You Live. Every day you perform countless actions without thinking. Brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, walking a familiar path, checking your phone, driving to work. These actions seem small, almost invisible, yet they are far more powerful than you realize. Each one is a manifestation of a habit. And habits are the bridges between your beliefs and your reality. A habit is not simply a behavior. It is the outward expression of an internal program stored in your subconscious mind. It is how your mind takes what it believes and translates it into action without requiring constant thought. This is why habits are so difficult to change. They operate on autopilot, silently directing your life in the background, long before your conscious mind has a chance to intervene. Consider this. Two people may have the same goal, the same resources, and the same knowledge. Yet one succeeds while the other struggles. Often, the difference is not in their abilities, but in their habits. One has cultivated daily routines that support growth. The other has habits that reinforce limitation, doubt, and delay. Habits are formed through repetition. Every time you perform an action, the neural pathways in your brain are strengthened. The more you repeat it, the easier it becomes. Eventually, your subconscious mind accepts the behavior as normal. This is why early actions are so crucial. Small, consistent behaviors compound over time to create significant results. But here is the subtle truth. Habits are deeply intertwined with your beliefs. You cannot consistently perform an action that conflicts with a deeply held belief. If you believe you are unworthy of success, no matter how many books you read or plans you make, your subconscious mind will find ways to sabotage your efforts. Habits must align with beliefs to be effective. To change your life, you must first examine your habits. Which ones serve you? Which ones hold you back? Awareness is the first step. Most people live in a fog of automatic behavior, performing the same routines without reflection. They wonder why they are not progressing, while their habits quietly dictate their outcomes. Once you identify a limiting habit, you can begin to interrupt it. You can consciously choose a new behavior to replace it. This requires intention, persistence, and patience. The first attempts may feel awkward. Your subconscious mind will resist. Old patterns are familiar and comfortable, even if they produce pain. but with repetition, the new habit strengthens. Over time, it becomes automatic, and your internal programming begins to shift. Emotion is essential in this process. A habit reinforced with feeling becomes deeply ingrained. If you approach a new behavior with excitement, pride, or determination, your subconscious mind perceives it as important. It will prioritize it, and the action becomes easier to sustain. Conversely, habits performed without emotion are often weak and easily abandoned. Imagination also plays a vital role. When you visualize yourself performing a habit successfully, your subconscious mind rehearses it in advance. You create a mental blueprint that guides your actions in reality. Athletes, artists, and leaders use this principle to achieve mastery. They imagine the desired behavior repeatedly until their mind and body act in harmony with the vision. Habits are not just personal. They shape your environment and relationships. Your behavior influences those around you. A habit of kindness encourages cooperation and trust. A habit of impatience breeds conflict and isolation. Your subconscious programming extends outward, creating ripple effects in the world you inhabit. Breaking a habit is not simply about stopping a behavior. It is about replacing it with a new one. The space left by the old action must be filled. Otherwise, the subconscious mind reverts to familiar patterns. Change without replacement rarely lasts. You must consciously design the new habit and embed it with repetition, emotion, and imagination. Consistency is non-negotiable. The subconscious mind does not recognize a single effort as permanent change. It measures patterns over time. Small, repeated actions accumulate power. A single day of effort does not rewire the brain, but a week, a month, a year of intentional behavior creates lasting transformation. Patience is equally vital. Change may be slow at first, invisible even. Yet beneath the surface, your subconscious mind is recording every attempt, every repeated action, every emotional investment. It is quietly reshaping the pathways that govern your behavior. Results appear when the internal structure is ready, not before. Habits can be both your prison and your liberation. The same principles that create limitation can be harnessed to create freedom. Every habit you choose intentionally reinforces your beliefs, strengthens your internal programming, and moves you closer to your desired life. The power of habits lies not only in action, but in design. You are the architect of your daily routines. You can structure your environment, your schedule, and your decisions to encourage positive habits. You can remove triggers for negative ones. You can reward progress, track consistency, and celebrate small victories. Each element strengthens the habit loop and ingrains it more deeply in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind thrives on patterns. By creating deliberate, empowering habits, you feed it instructions that shape your life in ways you may not even notice at first. This is the subtle genius of internal transformation. Change is not always dramatic. Often it is invisible, accumulating quietly, until one day your life feels fundamentally different. Habits are also cumulative. One small habit may seem insignificant, yet its effects multiply over time. Consider reading 15 minutes a day, walking for 20 minutes, expressing gratitude daily, or speaking words of encouragement to yourself. Each is small alone, but together they create an ecosystem of growth, success, and resilience. Your subconscious mind absorbs these signals and orchestrates your actions, decisions, and responses to match. Resistance will come, old habits cling, discomfort will arise, you may feel impatient or doubtful. This is not failure, it is evidence that your subconscious mind is negotiating change. You are teaching it a new script, And like any teacher, patience, consistency, and reinforcement are required. Habits also shape identity. Every repeated action communicates to your subconscious mind who you are. A person who exercises daily begins to see themselves as strong and disciplined. A person who speaks kindly begins to see themselves as compassionate. Your behavior does more than accomplish tasks. It redefines your self-image. Identity is powerful because the subconscious mind acts to preserve it. When a new habit aligns with your desired identity, it is easier to maintain. When it conflicts with an old self-image, resistance is stronger. Therefore, habit change is also a journey of self-redefinition. You are not simply changing actions, you are changing the person who performs them. Finally, understand that habits are the bridge between thought and reality. Your beliefs shape your habits shape your behavior. Your behavior shapes your results. Your results reinforce your beliefs. This cycle is continuous, silent, and potent. By intervening at the level of habits, you influence the entire cycle. You guide your subconscious mind, shape your daily life, and ultimately direct your destiny. In the chapters ahead, you will learn practical methods to harness this understanding. You will discover how to intentionally design habits, align them with empowering beliefs, and sustain them through the natural resistance of your subconscious programming. You will see that mastery of your habits is not about discipline alone. It is about insight, awareness, and consistent action. Because your habits are not just actions you perform, they are the quiet architects of your life. They whisper instructions to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind listens. Over time, those whispers become reality. Your journey of transformation is not a series of random events. It is a deliberate, purposeful shaping of thought, belief, and action. And habits are the tools you use to carve the life you desire. Every habit you cultivate today shapes your tomorrow. Every small action repeated with intention molds your identity, strengthens your beliefs, and guides your subconscious mind. The life you live tomorrow is being built by the habits you choose today, and the choice is entirely yours. Chapter 5: The Power of Mental Imagery and Inner Vision. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a simple scene. You are standing at the edge of a calm lake. The water is still, the air is cool. You can hear the gentle movement of leaves in the distance. Even though you are not physically there, something within you responds. Your body relaxes, your breathing slows. A sense of calm begins to spread. Nothing in your external world has changed. Yet your internal world has shifted. This is the quiet and extraordinary power of your imagination. Your subconscious mind does not operate strictly on reality as defined by the outer world. It responds to what is vividly experienced within. When an image is clear, repeated, and emotionally charged, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as truth. This is why mental imagery is not merely daydreaming. It is a form of inner programming. From the earliest stages of your life, your mind has been creating pictures. Every memory you recall is stored as an image. Every plan you consider forms a visual structure. Even your fears often appear as imagined scenarios. Your subconscious mind speaks in images more fluently than in words. Words can instruct, but images impress. If you tell yourself that you are confident, your conscious mind understands the sentence. But if you see yourself standing tall, speaking clearly, and commanding attention while feeling the emotion of confidence, your subconscious mind receives a much stronger message. It begins to recognize that image as a possible reality. And over time, it works to align your behavior with that internal picture. This is the principle that high performers across fields have used, often without fully realizing its depth. Before an athlete steps into competition, they have already seen themselves winning. Before a speaker walks onto the stage, they have already imagined delivering their message with clarity and strength. They rehearse success internally before expressing it externally. This internal rehearsal creates familiarity, and familiarity reduces fear. Your subconscious mind prefers what it recognizes. When you repeatedly imagine a situation, it becomes known. When it becomes known, your mind no longer treats it as a threat. Instead, it begins to treat it as a natural experience. This is how imagination can dissolve anxiety. Consider a person who fears public speaking. In their mind, they may repeatedly imagine failure. They see themselves forgetting words, being judged, or making mistakes. These images are often vivid and emotionally intense. Their subconscious mind accepts these images as potential reality. So when the moment arrives, their body responds with fear. Their heart races, their thoughts become scattered, their behavior aligns with the images they have been rehearsing. Now imagine if that same person consciously changed their inner imagery. They begin to visualize standing on stage with calmness. They see themselves speaking clearly. They imagine the audience listening with interest. They feel the sense of control and confidence in their body. At first, it may feel unnatural, but with repetition, the image becomes clearer. The emotion becomes stronger. The subconscious mind begins to accept it. And when the real moment arrives, something shifts. The fear is reduced. The body feels more stable. The mind is more focused. The external performance improves because the internal rehearsal has already taken place. This is the transformative potential of mental imagery. But it must be used with intention, because the same imagination that can empower you can also limit you. Many people unknowingly use their imagination against themselves. They visualize worst-case scenarios. They replay past failures. They create detailed mental pictures of what could go wrong. And because these images are often repeated with strong emotion, the subconscious mind accepts them deeply. Worry is nothing more than imagination used in a negative direction. You are creating a future in your mind that you do not want, yet you continue to rehearse it. And your subconscious mind, being obedient, begins to align your thoughts and actions with that rehearsal. To change this pattern, you must become aware of your inner images. Pay attention to what you see in your mind during quiet moments. Notice the pictures that arise when you think about your goals, your challenges, your future. Are these images supportive or limiting? Do they empower you or hold you back? Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you become aware, you can begin to take control. You can intentionally create new images. You can design mental scenes that reflect the life you want to live. This is not about denying reality. It is about preparing your mind for a different reality. Start with clarity. What do you truly want? Do not focus on what you wish to avoid. Focus on what you want to experience. See it as clearly as possible. Where are you? What are you doing? Who is with you? What does success look like in that moment? Then add emotion. How does it feel to achieve this? Feel the satisfaction, the confidence, the gratitude. Allow the emotion to fill the image. Emotion gives life to the picture. Without emotion, the image remains weak. With emotion, it becomes powerful. Then repeat. Revisit this image regularly, especially in moments when your mind is calm and receptive. Early morning and before sleep are particularly powerful times. During these moments, your subconscious mind is more open to suggestion. Each repetition strengthens the image. Each emotional experience deepens the impression. Gradually, the image becomes familiar, and familiarity leads to acceptance. As your subconscious mind begins to accept the image, it starts to influence your behavior. You begin to notice opportunities aligned with your vision. You take actions that move you closer to it. You respond differently to challenges. Your inner world begins to guide your outer world. This process may seem subtle, but its effects are profound. Many breakthroughs in life do not begin with action. They begin with vision, a clear inner picture that is held consistently until it becomes reality. Your imagination is not limited by your current circumstances. It is not restricted by your past experiences. It is a space where possibilities exist freely. And within that space, you have the ability to create. But creation requires direction. If you leave your imagination uncontrolled, it will often default to fear, doubt, and repetition of past patterns. This is not because you are weak, but because your mind is conditioned to protect you. It anticipates danger. It prepares for negative outcomes. But you are not meant to live in constant anticipation of fear. You are meant to use your imagination as a tool for growth. When you consciously direct your inner vision, you shift from reacting to life to creating it. You become the designer of your experiences rather than a passive observer. This is the true power of your subconscious mind. It takes what you consistently imagine and works to bring it into alignment with your reality. Not through magic, but through influence. Influence over your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your decisions. Everything begins within. As you continue this journey, remember this simple truth. Your mind is always creating images. The question is not whether you are using imagination. The question is how you are using it. In the next chapter, you will discover the role of emotion at an even deeper level. You will understand how feelings act as signals to your subconscious mind and how they can either accelerate your growth or anchor you in limitation. Because when you learn to master your emotions, you gain even greater control over your inner world. And when you master your inner world, your outer world begins to follow. Chapter 6. The emotional engine of your subconscious mind. A moment when your mind says one thing, but your heart insists on another. In that moment, it is not logic that decides your action. It is emotion. Emotion is the driving force behind your subconscious mind. It is the energy that transforms thoughts into beliefs, beliefs into actions, and actions into reality. Without emotion, thoughts remain weak and temporary. With emotion, they become powerful and lasting. Your subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to how those words make you feel. You can repeat a statement endlessly, but if it carries no emotional depth, it will pass through your mind without leaving a strong impression. But when a thought is combined with emotion, it penetrates deeply. It becomes part of your internal programming. This is why certain experiences shape your life so profoundly. It is not always what happened, but how you felt when it happened. A single moment of intense fear can create a lasting limitation. A moment of encouragement can spark a lifelong belief in possibility. Emotion acts as a signal to your subconscious mind, telling it what is important and what should be remembered. Think of your subconscious mind as a recording system. Every experience is being stored, but emotional experiences are recorded in bold. They stand out. They are prioritized. They influence your future behavior more strongly than neutral events. This is both your greatest challenge and your greatest opportunity, because while negative emotions can create limiting patterns, positive emotions can create empowering ones. Fear, doubt, anger, and insecurity can anchor you in patterns that hold you back. But confidence, gratitude, love, and determination can elevate your thinking and expand your possibilities. The key is not to eliminate emotion. The key is to understand and direct it. Many people attempt to control their lives by controlling their thoughts alone. They try to think positively, to force new beliefs, to push themselves toward change. But without emotional alignment, these efforts often fail, because the subconscious mind listens to feeling more than words. If you say, "I am confident," but feel fear, your subconscious mind responds to the fear. If you say, "I will succeed," but feel doubt, your subconscious mind accepts the doubt. Emotion reveals the true message. This is why emotional awareness is essential. You must become conscious of what you feel, not just what you think. When you face a challenge, notice your emotional response. Are you feeling fear or excitement? Are you feeling resistance or curiosity? These feelings are signals from your subconscious mind, reflecting your current programming. Do not judge them. Understand them. Every emotion has a purpose. Fear may be trying to protect you. Doubt may be reflecting past experiences. Insecurity may be rooted in old beliefs. When you recognize this, you stop seeing emotions as obstacles and start seeing them as information. But awareness alone is not enough. You must learn to shift your emotional state. This is where true mastery begins. Emotion is not fixed. It is influenced by your focus, your interpretation, and your physiology. When you change how you think, how you interpret a situation, and even how you carry your body, your emotional state begins to change. For example, if you focus on what could go wrong, fear increases. If you focus on what could go right, excitement grows. If you interpret a challenge as a threat, anxiety rises. If you interpret it as an opportunity, motivation emerges. Your interpretation shapes your emotion, and your emotion shapes your response. This gives you power. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You are a participant in their creation. Another powerful element is physical state. Your body and your mind are deeply connected. The way you stand, breathe, and move influences how you feel. A tense posture can reinforce stress. A relaxed and open posture can create a sense of calm and confidence. This is why changing your physical state can shift your emotional state. Take a deep breath. Slow your breathing. Straighten your posture. These simple actions send signals to your subconscious mind that you are in control. Over time, you can condition yourself to enter empowering emotional states more easily. But perhaps the most powerful way to influence emotion is through intentional creation. Just as you can imagine a future success, you can feel it in advance. You can generate emotions deliberately. Close your eyes and recall a moment when you felt proud, confident, or joyful. Relive it in detail. See what you saw. Hear what you heard. Feel what you felt. Allow that emotion to rise within you. In doing this, you are training your subconscious mind. You are teaching it to associate certain thoughts and images with positive emotional states. Now imagine applying this to your goals. When you visualize your success, do not stop at the image. Step into the feeling. Experience the satisfaction of achieving it. Feel the confidence, the relief, the excitement. This emotional experience strengthens the image, and the combination of image and emotion creates a powerful signal for your subconscious mind. It begins to accept this future as real, and once it accepts it, it begins to guide your behavior toward it. Emotion is the fuel of transformation. Without it, change is slow and fragile. With it, change becomes dynamic and lasting. But there is another side to this truth. If you constantly dwell in negative emotional states, you reinforce limiting patterns. If you repeatedly feel fear, your subconscious mind strengthens beliefs associated with fear. If you live in doubt, your mind reinforces uncertainty. If you hold on to anger, your perception of the world becomes shaped by it. Emotion reinforces reality. This is why emotional discipline is essential. Not suppression, but direction. You're not meant to ignore negative emotions. You are meant to process them and then choose where to focus your energy. Holding on to negative emotion without awareness strengthens it. Releasing it and redirecting your focus weakens it. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotional states you can cultivate. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your emotional state shifts. Your mind becomes more open. Your perception becomes more positive. Your subconscious mind receives a message of abundance rather than scarcity. And it begins to align your thinking with that message. Love, appreciation, and purpose are equally powerful. They expand your perspective. They reduce fear. They create resilience. When these emotions are consistently experienced, they reshape your internal world. And your external world follows. Remember this: your subconscious mind is always listening to how you feel. Every emotion is a message. Every feeling is a signal. You are constantly teaching your mind what matters, what is true, and what should be created. The question is not whether emotion is influencing your life. The question is whether you are influencing your emotion. In the next chapter, you will explore the role of self-talk and internal dialogue. You will discover how the words you speak to yourself shape your identity and how you can transform your inner voice into a source of strength rather than limitation. Because the conversation you have within yourself is the foundation of the life you create. And when you change that conversation, everything begins to change. Chapter 7. The voice within that shapes your reality. There is a conversation happening inside you right now. It does not pause. It does not wait. It does not ask for permission. It speaks in quiet sentences, subtle judgments, and repeated phrases that shape how you see yourself and how you move through the world. This is your inner voice. Most people hear it, but very few truly listen to it. And even fewer realize that this voice is not just commentary. It is instruction. It is guidance. It is programming. The words you speak to yourself are among the most powerful forces acting upon your subconscious mind. Because your subconscious does not argue with your self-talk, it accepts it. Think about how often you say things like, "I cannot do this," "I am not ready," "this is too difficult," or "I always fail at this." These may seem like harmless expressions of frustration, but to your subconscious mind, they are commands. And once accepted, they begin to shape your behavior. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you are not confident, your subconscious mind organizes your actions to match that identity. You hesitate, you avoid, you withdraw, not because you lack ability, but because your inner voice has defined your role. Now consider a different internal dialogue. I am learning. I am improving. I am capable of growth. I can handle this. At first, these statements may feel unfamiliar. They may not seem completely true, but with repetition and emotional engagement, they begin to influence your subconscious mind. And slowly, your behavior begins to shift. This is the power of self-talk. It is not about forcing positivity or ignoring reality. It is about choosing words that support your growth rather than limit it. Your inner voice was not created by you alone. It was shaped over time. The words you heard from others became the words you now speak to yourself. A teacher's criticism, a parent's expectations, a friend's opinion, a moment of failure. All of these experiences contributed to the formation of your internal dialogue. Over time, external voices became internal voices, and now they operate automatically. This is why many people carry harsh, critical inner voices without realizing it. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to another person. They judge themselves harshly. They focus on their weaknesses. They replay mistakes again and again. And each time they do this, they reinforce a negative self-image. Your subconscious mind listens carefully. It takes these repeated statements and turns them into beliefs. And those beliefs shape your reality. But here is the truth that changes everything. You can change your inner voice. You are not bound to the dialogue you inherited. You can become aware of it. You can question it. And you can rewrite it. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself throughout the day. Notice the tone, the language, and the patterns. Do you encourage yourself or criticize yourself? Do you focus on possibilities or limitations? Awareness brings clarity. Once you see your inner dialogue clearly, you gain the power to change it. The second step is interruption. When you notice a negative statement, pause. Do not allow it to pass unnoticed. Challenge it. Ask yourself if it is truly accurate or if it is simply a habit of thought. Then replace it. Not with empty positivity, but with constructive truth. If you think I always fail, replace it with I am learning through experience. If you think I am not good enough, replace it with I am developing my abilities every day. These replacements must feel believable. Your subconscious mind resists statements that feel completely false, but it accepts statements that suggest growth and possibility. The third step is repetition. Just as negative self-talk was formed through repetition, positive and constructive self-talk must also be repeated consistently. At first it may feel forced, it may feel unnatural, but over time it becomes familiar, and familiarity leads to acceptance. Your subconscious mind begins to adopt the new language. Your identity begins to shift. Another powerful aspect of self-talk is the tone you use. Words alone are not enough. The way you say them matters. If your inner voice is harsh, critical, or impatient, even positive words may lose their impact. But if your tone is calm, supportive, and encouraging, your subconscious mind responds more positively. Imagine speaking to yourself as you would to someone you care about deeply. You would not constantly criticize them. You would guide them, encourage them, support them through difficulty. You deserve the same. Self-talk also influences your emotional state. Negative dialogue creates negative emotion. Positive and constructive dialogue creates empowering emotion. And as you have learned, emotion strengthens the messages received by your subconscious mind. This creates a powerful cycle. Constructive self-talk leads to positive emotion. Positive emotion reinforces constructive beliefs. Constructive beliefs lead to improved behavior. Improved behavior leads to better results. And better results reinforce your self-talk. The cycle becomes self-sustaining. But there is something even deeper. Your inner voice shapes your identity. Every statement you repeat about yourself contributes to who you believe you are, and your subconscious mind acts to maintain that identity. If you consistently tell yourself, I am disciplined, you begin to act in disciplined ways. If you say, I am confident, you begin to behave with confidence. If you say, I am resilient, you begin to handle challenges with strength. Identity is built through language. And language is shaped by repetition. You are constantly telling yourself a story about who you are. The question is that story empowering or limiting? Does it expand your possibilities or restrict them? Does it move you forward or hold you back? You have the ability to rewrite that story. Not overnight, but over time. With awareness, intention, and consistency, your inner voice can become a source of strength. It can guide you through difficulty. It can support you in moments of doubt. It can remind you of your potential when you forget. And when your inner voice aligns with your goals, your subconscious mind begins to work with you rather than against you. This is when change accelerates, because instead of fighting yourself, you are supporting yourself. Instead of doubting yourself, you are encouraging yourself. Instead of limiting yourself, you are expanding your identity. Remember this, you are always speaking to yourself. Every thought is a sentence. Every sentence is a suggestion. Every suggestion is shaping your subconscious mind. Choose your words carefully. They are building your reality. In the next chapter, you will explore the power of belief reinforcement and how consistent thought patterns create lasting identity. You will learn how to strengthen empowering beliefs and dissolve limiting ones through practical techniques that align with your subconscious mind. Because once your beliefs and your inner voice are aligned, your path becomes clear. And when your path is clear, your progress becomes unstoppable. Chapter 8. Rewriting the script of your identity. There is a moment in every life when a person quietly asks a powerful question. Is this who I really am, or is this who I have been told I am? That question is the beginning of transformation. Because what you call your personality, your limits, your strengths, your habits, even your destiny, is not a fixed structure. It is a script. A script written over time through repetition, emotion, experience, and influence. And most importantly, it is a script that can be rewritten. From your earliest days, you were given roles. Some were spoken directly. Others were implied through experience. You are the smart one. You are the shy one. You are not good at this. You always struggle with. That people like you do not succeed in such areas. These statements, repeated over time, did not remain external. They moved inward. They became part of your identity. And identity is powerful. Because your subconscious mind is designed to protect and preserve it. If you believe you are a certain type of person, your mind will guide your behavior to stay consistent with that belief. Even if that identity limits you, even if it causes discomfort, your subconscious mind holds on to it because it is familiar. Familiarity feels safe. This is why people often remain in patterns they claim to want to escape. Not because they lack desire, but because their identity has not changed. A person may want success, but if they see themselves as someone who struggles, their actions will reflect struggle. A person may want confidence, but if they identify as shy or incapable, they will unconsciously behave in ways that reinforce that identity. Your life does not rise to the level of your goals. It aligns with the level of your identity. This is the deeper layer of change. Not just changing what you do, but changing who you believe you are. And to do that, you must understand how identity is formed and how it can be transformed. Identity is built through evidence. Every action you take, every thought you repeat, every emotion you experience becomes a piece of evidence. Your subconscious mind collects this evidence and uses it to reinforce a story. If you repeatedly delay tasks, your mind gathers evidence that you are someone who procrastinates. If you avoid challenges, it gathers evidence that you are someone who fears difficulty. If you take small, consistent actions, it gathers evidence that you are disciplined. Over time, the evidence becomes a belief, and the belief becomes your identity. But here is the most important truth. You can create new evidence. You are not limited to the past. Every action you take today is a vote for the person you are becoming. If you want to become confident, you do not wait to feel confident. You begin to act in small ways that reflect confidence. You speak when you would normally stay silent. You take a step forward when you would normally hesitate. Each action is small, but each action sends a message to your subconscious mind. This is who I am. At first, the message may be weak. It may feel uncertain. Your old identity may resist. But with repetition, the message becomes stronger. Your subconscious mind begins to collect new evidence. And slowly, your identity begins to shift. This process requires patience. You are not erasing your past. You are building something new alongside it. The more consistently you act in alignment with your desired identity, the more your subconscious mind accepts it. This is how transformation becomes lasting. Another powerful element in rewriting your identity is visualization combined with emotion. As you learned earlier, your subconscious mind responds to vivid imagery and feeling. When you consistently imagine yourself as the person you want to become and feel the emotions associated with that identity, you create internal evidence. You are showing your mind a new version of yourself. And with repetition, that version begins to feel familiar. Familiarity reduces resistance. Resistance weakens. Acceptance grows. But identity is not only shaped by what you do and what you imagine, it is also shaped by what you tolerate. The standards you accept in your life reinforce your identity. If you tolerate poor habits, your subconscious mind interprets that as part of who you are. If you tolerate negative environments, limiting conversations, and unproductive routines, they become part of your internal script. But when you begin to raise your standards, something shifts. You start saying no to what does not align with your growth. You begin to choose environments that support your development. You become more intentional with your time and energy. These decisions send a powerful message. I am someone who values growth, and your subconscious mind responds. Identity is also influenced by association. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the conversations you engage in, all contribute to your internal programming. If you surround yourself with negativity, doubt, and limitation, your identity absorbs those patterns. If you immerse yourself in growth, learning, and possibility, your identity begins to reflect those qualities. You are constantly being shaped. The question is, are you shaping yourself intentionally? This is where conscious living begins. You begin to choose your influences. You become selective about what you allow into your mind. You recognize that every input contributes to your identity, and you take responsibility for it. There is another subtle but powerful factor: consistency of language. The way you describe yourself reinforces your identity. If you say, "I am trying to be disciplined," you are still identifying with struggle. But if you say, "I am becoming disciplined," you are shifting your identity toward growth. The difference may seem small, but your subconscious mind responds to it. Language shapes perception. Perception shapes belief. Belief shapes identity. And identity shapes reality. This is why the process of rewriting your script must be intentional. You must choose your actions, your thoughts, your environment, and your language in alignment with the person you want to become. Over time, these elements work together. They create a new pattern. And that pattern becomes your new identity. At a certain point, something remarkable happens. The behaviors that once required effort become natural. The thoughts that once felt forced become automatic. The identity you were building becomes who you are. And when that happens, your life begins to reflect it effortlessly. You no longer chase change, you embody it. This is the true power of your subconscious mind. It does not just influence what you do, it defines who you believe you are. And when you take control of that process, you take control of your life. Remember this: you are not a fixed personality. You are a dynamic system of beliefs, habits, and patterns that can be reshaped. Your past may have written the first chapters of your story, but you hold the pen now, and the next chapters are waiting to be written with intention. In the next chapter, you will discover how your environment silently programs your subconscious mind and how you can design surroundings that support your growth instead of limiting it. Because the world around you is not neutral. It is constantly influencing who you become. And when you learn to shape your environment, you strengthen your transformation from the outside as well as from within.